Guys, welcome. Today's sort of an inauspicious day when I was checking my calendars for various reasons. But I wanted to do an experiment and just kind of be in here anyway. I just wanted to know what's going on with you guys. So what's going on with you guys? How are you? How are you? We will get into your reading really quickly. Just wanted to do a really short one. We're having a heat wave where I'm from, or where I'm living right now. And it's a big one in the US, so if you are dealing with that, I hope you're staying cool and safe. So let's go ahead and get into this reading right now. I want to call in guides, guardians, ancestors, Lord above, whatever your highest and deepest callings are. I want to bring them into this space for the highest good of my collective. There's going to be one panel on the bottom. I'm trying to get better at the angle. So there's a panel at the bottom you guys won't be able to see, but I'll try to pull it up. And that's kind of what the underworld, I like to call it the underworld part is. So you'll still see them. That's part of your reading, is picking out all that. Ooh, judgment, okay. One more. Uh-oh. I don't like to see that one. Do we need these? Kind of. Anybody else need to come out? I'm just gonna pick a couple randoms. What did you get into recently, my friends? Do we want that? Kind of, yeah. All right. Let's see. We can squeeze some of this into your angle so you can see. Check that. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. You can stay out here. Okay, so we haven't even gotten to the heart of the issue. What's the heart of the issue? Knight of Wands. Who's coming in for you? Let's see. So I always say this in my readings, must just be my collective's energy, but there's a lot of energy here on the table for you today. This is not a calm time, I'm hearing. Like, it might seem calm. I know it's like summer. I hope you get to the beach. But this, I'm hearing this sucks. But like a teenager, have you guys, there's a reference for this energy. There's a song called, it's by Suicidal Tendencies, Unaliving Tendencies. Sorry, I hope I don't get blocked for, but it's a band. Suicidal Tendencies, and they have a song called Institutionalized. And the whole thing is about this kid being like pissed off that his mom won't get him a Pepsi. And you can hear this whole thing unfolding where it's like he's describing his world, and from a teenager's perspective, it makes perfect freaking sense. And his mom thinks he's on drugs because he's existentially melting down. And he's like, no, I'm not. I just wanted a Pepsi. I'm not on drugs. You're driving me crazy. Anyway, so why did I get that? I just heard like, this sucks, but I heard it in the voice of like that boy who's like, I just wanted a Pepsi. Where is this energy coming from? That's such a random download. Obviously, collective readings aren't for everybody, so if you're like, that's not me, it could be someone in your life who's feeling this way. Oh God, it's really funny. Yeah, I'm just getting like random drama right off the bat. The devil came out. Here, I can just point to it. I don't have to pick it up. The devil. So for my Christian listeners, if you are of the Abrahamic faiths, you can take this shit literally if you want to. I'm sorry for my swear words. You can also just think of it as symbolic. Lately, I've been working with the energy of understanding that most people are good. And I personally do believe in nefarious possession. And sometimes lately, especially lately, I have been feeling like those types of entities are really plentiful. So usually I warn people, or a lot of readers will be like, we don't really mean death, we don't really mean the devil, but like in this case, and lately, I'm just telling you, that's like energy I've been getting, there are like crappy forces about that. If you don't want to believe in demons, if that's not your path, you could think of them as like sinful modalities or energy imprints. I heard someone talk about like energy imprints, where like, say you get out of a toxic relationship and then the next relationship you get into, it's the same damn thing all over again. And so this devil energy, usually most traditional tarot readers will be like, this has nothing to do with the devil, this is all just about attachments, like kind of like carnal material attachments and agreements that may not be to your highest served calling, but usually they're like karmic lessons, for lack of a better word, like things that we are learning as human beings on this earth who are meant to be flawed. So that's one way you could see the devil. Another way that I'm proposing we look at it this way is like, lately, at least for myself, and I'm sure as my collective, you might feel similar affinity, there are people who get eaten by, maybe not eaten, but like taken over. People who are alcoholics, for example, there's this thing called the demon alcohol. The word alcohol comes from an old term for alcohol, and I talk about this a lot because I have unfortunately encountered this demon in myself and countless loved ones. I don't really drink anymore, especially not to that level, for that reason, because I know that in spiritual practices like the ones we do here at Pohina Apothecary, we understand that when you are heavily intoxicated, or if you are addicted to other things, maybe it's career, maybe it's sex, you know, it could be shopping, it could be a lot of things that are pulling you into an energy that's not really for your highest good. So I'm just hearing there's some demonic, there's some possessed people around you, maybe. Who's possessed around you? This Knight of Wands, you know, the heart of the issue here. God, I'm afraid to talk about this. Because it's BS I'm hearing. And it's not like anything bad is going on in your life, my love. It's more like I'm hearing same SHIT, different day. Like, it's like, there are people around you, I'm hearing, they do not get it. And for those of you who read tarot who are like, which card? I'm trying to move away from that because it's just an easier way to read. It can get distracting. I have mild ADHD, maybe. There is someone better coming. I'm like, I hate this energy. I just want to talk about better things. So there is someone better coming for you, my love. And this Knight of Cups. Knights usually represent like information or people coming in, gifts of love. It's so interesting. This Death card is popping out too. Like, you see these 3 horses, 1, 2, 3. You know, these are messages coming in for you guys. I'm hearing from you guys. Interesting. You are walking away from this whole, I always love to use the word kerfuffle. You are walking the hell away from this. This Knight of Wands, who is this? This Knight of Wands is either someone who does not get it or who hurt you in the first place, I'm seeing, with this 3 of Swords. This is one of my least favorite cards we could pull. This represents heartache. This, I'm hearing, is actually really sacred for you to take apart right now. I always, like, I read intuitively, and sometimes I'll get like energy off a card. And it's always really funny when I get a positive energy off a negative card. I don't read reversals, so maybe if you're one of those, that might be a way to interpret this. But like, there is something that broke you that's just like, frick, no. No. No, 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 no to this Knight of Wands, I'm hearing. No to this Queen of Swords, I'm hearing. Possibly no to a Queen of Wands and a Queen of Swords. Oh, that's interesting. We've got like 2 couples there too. I don't know if that's literal or metaphorical. But yeah, I always like to see like who's in our energy, who's in my collective's energy. We've got the Queen of Swords, the King of Swords in the past, and the Queen of Wands. Oh, and the Knight of Wands in the present. I don't like it though. Look, I almost blew out our protection candle. And my neighbor's making noise. So interference. There's a lot of interference in this, but I'm being called to talk about judgment here for you. Whatever happened, I don't want to get into what happened because I can feel from this collective reading what happened doesn't matter for my collective right now. What we're looking at on the table here is what are we doing afterwards, right? For many of you, though, what happened is very different for certain people, but it has to do with this freaking heartache here, and it has to do with this Knight of Wands. I'm hearing like this immature, stupid energy coming in for you. That's not what this card always means, but it does today. This person, they're just very immature. It's like they have something to offer you that you've already, like you've already unturned that stone. You know that term, leave no stone unturned. Like you've already done everything you needed to do in this situation. And there's just somebody coming in there being like dipshit. I'm so sorry, I don't normally swear this much. Like, I can just tell you're like frustrated, my collective. Like, I feel like we're tired here. And not tired in an actually exhausted way. Like, I feel really balanced energy. I just feel like you're like very much walking away. This doesn't serve you and you know it. And I think you've been walking away probably for like 2 or 3 weeks now, if I were to put a guess on it. There's money coming in for you. There's money and love coming in for you. This Judgment card too, look at that. This is in the wrong order, this should be here, but like you walking away from this nonsense is so freaking necessary. Is this where it was? Yeah. But you walking away because of this heartache, from harshness, I'm hearing that the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords, I'm just hearing like you might have been failed by like parental figures or like your anima and animus, whatever you see as authority in your life when it comes to like intellectualism, maybe something with the genders, something about, I want to say like your politics even. Maybe we won't get into that too much. There's another, I'm hearing authority in feminine energy. This is not you. There's somebody watching you too. There's like people on your side. At least they want to be. They're watching you. And they kind of want to help and they're there. I'm hearing some people have no idea that you're dealing with potential drama from others, I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm hearing it's under wraps. There's like something going on where you've left the situation, but I'm hearing you've stayed really quiet about it. I like that. That's funny. I'm also being called to look at the flower in the death card. I can't remember what this flower is. Maybe I'll try to write it in the description if I have time, but you can also look it up yourself. But there's something for you about the symbolic nature of the flower in the death card. You might even want to put this flower on your altar, even just like printing out or sketching a photo of it and absorbing the energy of the equivalent I'm hearing coming from like Eastern traditions is like the lotus that blooms out of the muck, the white lotus. Please don't confuse it with the terrible Evil Elites TV show. Why did I bring that up? Yeah, there's just some stuff going on in here, my friends. Is there anything else we can talk about? Green. This green blob. I don't remember what this is supposed to be. Is it a scepter he's holding? Yeah, there's something the devil is doing. We're just going to talk about the devil like it's the real devil. Again, the devil can be symbolic. The devil can represent either the literal devil, if that's your line, can represent lesser demons taking over things they don't belong in, or empty vessels like the people who are intoxicated. This is money though. I'm hearing there's somebody in your energy, and it could also just be all of our collective energy, where some of this has to do, I'm hearing, with like almost like capitalism and greed, like taking money, doing business deals, having opinions, running through life in an imbalanced way. And I'm hearing like for you, everyone's a culprit. Even if it's not, like even if some of these people are positive, there's a couple of people in your life, should we talk about who's positive? I'm hearing no, because like we really need to let you know that regardless of what people's intentions are in your life at this time, it's highly important that you quiet the noise. There's a lot of people in your energy. I got this from my last reading too. It's just like a ton of people in your energy that I don't think everyone belongs there. In fact, I'm willing to bet, again, this kind of annoying heart of the issue here, this news coming in that is like positive but upsetting. I'm just hearing like, how will you meditate, my collective? We have to meditate to be healthy. And if everybody is in your energy all the time, doing stuff, having opinions, bringing you news. I'm hearing like people have news to bring you that has nothing, like everything to do with themselves lately. Like it's like if you get a phone call or receive an email and 2 sentences in it are having to do with you and for you, and they wrote like a whole, I'm guilty of this too, so I'm sorry if you know me in real life and this ever happened to you. For me, I'm hyperverbal, so, but like, you know, if you got a whole email and like everything in the email was all about them, like lots of stuff about me, and then you are like, okay, so what was the point of your email? 1 sentence in this is relevant to me. Cool, 2 sentences. Could you respect my time more? And that's so harsh to say. I'm hearing like the person that I'm talking about, they might be like a water sign, like they're gonna cry if you say that to them. So you can't, that's why you're being quiet. It's irritating. I'm getting like a sense of just being like, don't, just leave collective alone. Let collective cook. Sorry for borrowing AAVE, but I listen to a lot of tarot readers that are from that culture, so let my collective be, let them do their thing. I promised you I would tell you what's on the bottom, like the underworld stuff. So your bottom row from here is the 2 of Wands, Temperance, and the 7 of Pentacles. So this is all good stuff here. It might, but it is contributing to your sense of peace. So if you're like, I don't know, this doesn't sound too, like, I don't feel that stressed. Of course not, because you are not the source of stress. It's so weird and funny. Like, I'm just seeing, like, everybody around you is doing, you know, they're holding stuff. They're like, I know the cards, they're always holding stuff, but like, it's just popping out for this particular energy is like, everybody's got something for you. You know, they want to sell you something. They want you to join their cult. They want you to buy things from them mostly. And I don't mean that like financially. I mean ideologies, contracts, spiritual warfare. I'm hearing spiritual illusions people might have. Yeah, that's part of the problem with all these people in your energy collective is people have ideas about you that are just not true. Like they're not, and it's not that they're wrong. It's not like they're lying. I don't get malice on the table today. There's nothing like, that's what's so irritating about it. Nobody here wants to hurt you, but nobody here is particularly helpful either. Except maybe this Knight of Cups. And the Temperance is always like, this is like an angelic thing that in my reading, it's one of the only cards with angel imagery. So same with Judgment, but this one's like really, really, they're here. You have angelic forces helping you. Not only that, but like this is you. Like not only do you have angelic forces guiding how you should behave, what you should do with your life, what the best route is, how to breathe, right? Like how to like carry yourself. You have this like inner peace, this inner knowing. Remember how I was like, let them cook, like, you know, let them do their thing. Like that, I love that phrase because it's just like they're busy right now. They have things they're doing. Don't be a backseat driver on my collective. There's like this person coming in, as well as this Queen of Swords like energy that is like really harsh and presumptive, I'm hearing. Presumptive, is it well-meaning? Not really. It's like power trip energy. I'm getting like a power trip happened on you, my collective. And it's like this almost feels like a minion of this person, like coming in being like, well, mom said da da da, or the boss said la 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 la, the inspector general says you have to do this. I don't know who it is, someone in authority in your life, in feminine energy, male or female. And this little weasel person I'm so sorry I'm being so sassy all the time, but like this person doesn't understand that they are not on the side of justice. They are like the minion of someone that doesn't know any better. And they might love you too. I'm getting a lot of you guys, this is like a brother, and that like, oh well, mom said that, like that's actually like very real for a couple of you. And if it's not, if it's a different relationship dynamic, it's giving that. Like it's very, very similar, where you are having to cope with someone who's not as strong as you, who's fearful. Like look at his little face, he's scared, dude. And that might not be for everybody. For some people, it could be like a lover coming in that's like, oh, I'm sorry, I ghosted, or I don't know who this is, but so weak. Like I don't know, I'm always harsh on my knights, almost always. This person's a mama's boy though. This person, what is this? Why am I getting that? This person has mom issues. I'm telling mom, it's like that's their authority. I don't know who their authority is, but it feels like they have this like, because they put a certain person on the pedestal as their authority, they have nothing to say to you because that's not your authority. You know what I mean? Like I often wonder that. Sometimes I meet people who are like very interesting in their energy and they might be very successful. There's a couple I'm thinking of where they're super successful. They're always doing really interesting things. I don't always know if it's coming from the right place. Like I think it is, but and I'm an intuitive, so it's like really strange. It's like, like what are you guys doing? Like this all looks really righteous, but it feels like unusual, and I don't know. I don't know if I believe it or not. And that's not to say that I don't, you know what I mean? Like I'm sounding a little bit paranoid, but this couple, I quite like them. I actually do think they're good people, but what always makes me wonder about them is I want to know who their authority is. Like I think it's God, but I'm not sure. Like what is your version of God that makes your ideology, that makes you move in the world? There's an ideological thread. This couple I'm using as an example, they are super grounded in whatever that is, and I've always been kind of curious about it. Like, well, what is it? Who is your God like, or who are your mentors that have given you such a clear path to your destiny and your service in the world? And I bring them up because I find them curious, and I'm curious about that. And they have powerful energy from whatever that is, and I don't know what it is. I kind of respect it tentatively, right? Like it doesn't match my guides or my energy, so it's kind of like, okay, like, you know, neither good nor bad. You know, they might not always trust me either because we might pray to different gods or something like that, so to speak, metaphorically or literally. And that doesn't mean like one is better or the other. I strongly believe, my philosophy is whatever guides you that makes you a good person in the world is a good thing. And intuitively we recognize each other, and sometimes we'll recognize energies that like aren't of that. But for this one, I'm actually just getting severe like mommy issues straight up, where this person, their God, their authority, whatever it is, and I'm not saying like the divine feminine, anything about that. I'm very much into the divine feminine. I think God is a woman or an amorphous, genderless being, low-key, like that's fine. But this person, they have like a cult leader that they follow, metaphorically or literally. When we say cult leader, we're talking about people who have a really rigid ideology that you can't veer away from. And I'm hearing abuse, like you probably were abused. We're just gonna get into like the drama a little bit. Like I think you were abused emotionally or otherwise, spiritually, financially, doesn't have to be physical, by this person, this Queen of Swords energy potentially. It caused a death, it caused a heartache of betrayal for you. So, I just feel like the Knight of Wands is giving like the little boy from the compound that's like running back to his like sister who fled the cult and is like, Mom's mad, you have to get back into the cult. What are you doing? And you're like, no, too bad. I'm hanging out with the Queen of Wands. I'm the Queen of Wands today. I don't do that anymore. Oh, she's a queen, I'm a queen. Can't have two queens in the castle. I've made my own fiefdom. Bro, you gotta go home. It's not gonna happen for you. I'm not going back to that, I'm hearing. That's very intense. It's very intense. I'm proud of you too, by the way, whoever this is for. You already know, like you're already done. You are so done with this. And I'm really proud of you that like, it's almost like you have come through so much, and this person coming in feels kind of like a final test of like God asking you, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to go back to feeling like you're under this whole situation, this contract that we are breaking? In spiritual New Age communities, we talk about spiritual contracts and breaking them a lot. So I just want you to know this could be something like that. These two right here. This nostalgia card popped out earlier. I kind of didn't want to talk about it, but I do want to bring up the fact that there are people in this situation who are incredibly nostalgic for the old you. And that's gonna pull on your heartstrings a little bit. It's going to be a little painful, like ripping that Band-Aid off. I'm hearing you are always your best self. Like there might be people who've known you for years that are like, oh my God, what's happened? Why are they going through a spiritual death and running away and doing whatever they want and not part of my weird little club anymore? People can't get a read on your energy, I'm hearing. And that's by design. That's something that you've done on purpose for protection because of your wisdom right now. But there was happy times. You had friends when you were a kid. Maybe you don't remember that, but you did, you know. You had loved ones who remember the good times. They remember you being like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I'm hearing. Or they remember you, someone just said in my ear, like having more fight in you. That's a big part of it too. There's someone who wants you to like argue with them about something even. Like they're expecting you to come to them in this similar like immature Knight of Wands energy or Queen of Swords energy even, like maybe in reverse, like that kind of like immature, argumentative. You have nothing to fight though, my love, because you're already fucking gone. Sorry for swearing again. Like you're already out. It's like if you quit a job and you put in your 2 weeks notice and you submitted, like if you submitted your 2 weeks notice to your boss and you're like, okay, bye. Like, I wasn't fulfilled here. Y'all didn't promote me. Found a different job. They pay a little better. They let me work remote. I don't know. Something like that happened. And your boss is like, why don't you, no, you're supposed to argue with me. You're supposed to argue with me. So I tell you, you're not worth the promotion and then you stay. You're not supposed to peacefully walk away. I wanted to argue with you and tell you that you weren't worth what you were asking me for. And maybe it wasn't that severe. Like, I feel like I'm getting a little too specific. Take what works for you and leave the rest. Like, not every message is for everyone, right? But I'm just hearing overall for everybody, this Knight of Wands is coming in. And some of you might even like the energy. It might be sort of validating. A lot of you, it's like a lover who ghosted, or like a family member that like has not paid you much mind in the past. And it's like, oh, well, thanks for caring. But you're still caring in the wrong way. You know, this is a little like henchman of somebody that is not on your team. What's the other word? Like minion? I'm hearing like a minion or henchman. They're coming in to tell you stuff that is like literally just distracting. It's like this person, they're like, I've got news. And you're like, what's the news, Jimmy? And he's like, well, I don't know, my cat crapped in the corner and mom's mad and they want you to clean it up. And it's like, well, Jimmy, that's not news. Like, I have a report due. I'm submitting a grant. I'm getting my PhD right now. I'm feeding the homeless at the shelter. I'm booked all week. You guys are gonna have to get the paper towels and the spray and clean it up yourselves, I guess. Like, that's news for you, Jimmy, not me. Not my news. Anyway, that's what's going on with this Knight of Wands energy. Some of you guys, like I said, Knight of Wands, all the knights, they're always really flirty. So for some of you, it really could be an old like flame. Maybe not even a real lover, like someone who wanted to be, I'm hearing, might be like, hey, why don't you want to argue with me about why you don't want a second Tinder date? I don't know. It's like, it's very silly. But again, if and as you ignore this person and let this past die, you have other suitors. So if this is like a little bit romantic for you, or if it's could be any kind of relationship, could be family too, where like by ignoring this person or ignoring anybody that's like not really giving you the good vibes. And I don't mean like if you have a friend who is having a bad day, of course you can be there for them. Like, people don't have to be positive all the time. But when you get the sense that somebody's just trying to waste your time, they're just trying to distract you, they're just messing with you, you're totally in your right to walk away and not deal with it. I'm hearing it's really important. Again, I'm hearing this is so important. This was healthy for you. This was like a band-aid ripping off. This was like you realizing how rock bottom the situation was for a couple of people, how demonically possessed some of these people were. Like, some of these people just like they didn't love you, baby. They didn't love you. They wanted to eat you. They wanted to eat your money. They wanted to eat your time. They wanted to eat your confidence and spit it back out for themselves. And they're not even conscious of it. That's the weird part that I've been picking up. This is not just this reading, but like in the atmosphere lately, like all around the world, when I'm watching the news, when I'm hearing people have conversations about things going on in their lives, just seeing energy on people when I'm walking through my day, it's very apparent that there's a lot of like illusions and literal freaking entities that are, and I don't want to make anybody paranoid. I share that with you because often we want to forgive our loved ones because we know, like, it's like that Jesus quote, like, they know not what they do. Forgive them for they know not what they do. But don't go back to them. Forgive them because it's not even them. You know, there are people in this world who are good people. That's why some of us who've been running away from abusers or abusive family situations, we don't even want to say like, yeah, they were abusive, or yeah, it was toxic, because that means like, what are we saying about them and their souls? And what I want to share with you about all this is not so you think everyone's possessed, but just so you know that people who you love, who have good souls, they can be vessels for dumb shit too. Like, they can, you know, if they're intoxicated, if they're in a weird place, if their soul and energy is out of balance, they too can become, just like we can be vessels for God, we can be vessels for good, we can be vessels for angelic forces and things that are trying to come and bring positivity in the world. We can also be vessels for entities and energetic imprints that are wildly creepy. This is not that reading. I teach protection magic work, and if you want to learn about that, that's, we do dark arts, protection against the dark arts type stuff here. But I'm telling you this because some of you guys have family members or loved ones or past lovers or friendships or colleagues where there were people, and you were not wrong to be like, whoa, this energy's evil. And it's not that they're evil, it's that they are vesseling evil. And so they're not going to be like that all the time. That's kind of why I'm telling you that. Is like, you don't have to think like your family's damned or like your ex-boyfriend's damned or whatever because they treated you poorly. But it's worth remembering that anybody can be a vessel for this type of energy. And it's also good to keep your shields and your protection up, my love, so you are never one of those ones. We've all been that, I think. I know myself, I'm not clean from that. There's been times where I've gotten really angry and I've said some stuff and I was just like, who used my mouth? Like, what was puppeting my mouth when I said that? That was really, really cruel. And I believe in the power of spoken word. Like, that's scary. Some of us are able to speak things into existence. And if you have that power, you better be careful what you say, and you don't want to lose that privilege. So it's serious. It's not a minor thing at all. What I'm lecturing about, this energy, this is just stupid energy. This is not scary. This is not... I mean, maybe for some people we do have the death and the devil card popping up here, but like what this is more about is you coming out of this bullshit. This is about you seeing your worth and also being able to see through the forest through the trees. That there are people who mean well but are out of balance. There are people who they're good as far as what they do in society maybe, but the way they see you is incorrect, rigid, false, and therefore inappropriate for where you're on your path. There are a lot of people you're walking away from, and it's literally for your highest good. And there are certain things that have happened to you that they're so intense that you will never be the same person again. And I'm hearing like that's like a trauma thing to say, but like this is not trauma, it's evolution. I was watching a silly documentary yesterday about the lungfish. Like, I hope I have enough battery for this story, but like the lungfish, basically they're one of the only creatures that can survive on land and in the water for long periods of time. They have to come up for air every half hour because they have regular like human lungs, like earth creature lungs. And then when the lake beds dry out in the desert, the lungfish burrows into the dirt and makes a cocoon around itself to hold its what moisture it has, and it goes into hibernation, and it can do that for years. Why am I talking about that? Transformation. It's like when the lungfish goes through a drought and has to do this, it's probably traumatic, or at least like the way we think of it. We're like, oh my God, a fish out of water. That's not cool. Fish walking on land, that sounds scary, this poor fish, right? And it's like, but this fish was designed for that. This lungfish has gone through droughts over millennia, thousands and thousands of years. So when it's drought time, fish doesn't care because that's a freaking lungfish, baby. You're a lungfish. You are a lungfish. This trauma is not new. Whatever this shit was, it's like you're moving through it like a lungfish. You're just like, oh shit, really? Like, God, I'm so sorry about my swear words today, but like, you're just like, whoever this is for, maybe you swear a lot too. And I'm not saying I don't, but like, I feel like I'm dealing with a bro right now. Like, yeah, because we got that energy from the institutionalized songwriters, that punk rock band. All I wanted was a Pepsi. This sucks. It's like you wanted to live a simple life, but I'm hearing it's a repeated generational trauma. And it doesn't matter like if it's family, if it's work, if it's romantic love, like there's generational trauma that like, I feel like you just had enough. Like it hit you, it broke you kind of. It didn't really break you, but it was just like, this sucks. Like this is so stupid. I'm never doing this again. I don't care if my ancestors have done it for thousands of years, or no, I'm not. Maybe like 400 years maybe is like what you just broke. Like maybe all the women in your family always had to put up with XYZ for 400 years and you're just like, no, I'm done. But when it happened, yeah, it's like you're the lungfish that decides you're gonna move to the wetlands, you know? You're like, yeah, I don't care that I had to hibernate in the desert because I'm built for that, because my ancestors did that hundreds and hundreds of times. But when I wake up from this cocoon, I'm gonna waddle my butt to a better environment so I don't have to anymore, okay? So that's your reading. You're the little lungfish that could, my love. I hope that that gave you some inspiration. I'm not gonna pull nature cards today because I think we're gonna play with the lungfish energy for you. Go check out that document. It's really creepy, but I bring it up because it's like, you can't watch a lungfish go through a drought without feeling panic and like the fear of death for them, you know? But I do think it's really valid to remember that like this is a creature that has done it, that is designed to do it over thousands of years, maybe more, probably millions or something. So like, it's not gonna feel that traumatic, but it's also not wrong to decide that you never wanna have to put yourself in a tough environment again, that you don't need to be evolved to handle crazy tough environments if you decide that you don't want that anymore. You know, maybe you're a lungfish that decides that you want to be wet the rest of your life, and there's a way for you to get there. And there will be people that are like, what do you mean? We've always done it this way. We've always just hibernated when it got bad. What do you mean we're not gonna go back to the good old days the way we used to? And go party and drink when we're stressed out instead of tackling the stress. I don't know, small example, specific for someone. That's your reading. I'm being called to just remind you again of this bottom row that you guys don't get to see very much. You, and also this Knight of Wands that might be kind of annoying, or anybody in your life coming forward, they are looking at everything that they have done so far, and they are evaluating things too. So as you heal, other people around you will heal, whether that's people in your past or people coming into your life in the future. There's a concerted effort. I'm hearing like 20% of this is you, but like everybody else around you is also wondering, how can we do better so everyone in my collective's life and the tribe around collective can thrive? So please don't think that just because people are being kind of incorrigible, I'm hearing, or silly or difficult, that they don't know that about themselves. And these two this energy is you as well, but like all of these energies are you as well, of just being very balanced, being very aware of where you're going. You have options, you have opportunities. You are going places, and you have messages coming in from more loving people than you have ever known before. That's kind of an affirmation, but I think it's true. There are people coming to offer you things that you have always deep down known that you deserved, but were withheld from you because of this weird, I'm gonna call it historical trauma, I don't know. But you have stuff coming in, and it's not just coming in, it's not like, oh, my ships are coming in. Like, in order for a ship to come in, you would have had to have set one out, you know. That's where that term comes from. Are your ships coming in? Did you send any out? You have sent out a lot of ships, and it's not even about your ships coming in right now. It's about you going on that journey yourself, you know, being that lungfish, the little lungfish that could, and crawling your way somewhere where you're allowed to evolve because you have plenty of water. And that's no hate on people who want to be hardy or lungfish in general. Like, that's a beautiful creature. I think it's really amazing. But again, we all feel this visceral stress, this trauma, seeing what this environment looks like. And it's not crazy of you to reject that and decide, oh my God, I could just move. It's that easy. I could leave this relationship, I could leave this job that's not working, I can, say for everything but abandoning your children or whatever. You are the orchestrator of your life, you are the designer of your life. Nobody else has any say in how you do that. And I think that anybody breaking a generational cycle is going to experience resistance and confusion from people who have always done it that way. I saw another quote on LinkedIn of all places. It was saying, "We've always done it this way" is the most expensive thing anyone's ever said in business before, but you can apply that to your spiritual life as well. We've always done it this way. We've always burrowed ourselves into the mud during droughts, using that analogy for whatever this family or community system is. You don't need that anymore, and you know that. And the journey might be a little bit lonely to get out, but it's going to be worth it. And it's something you deserve. I'm getting a clear sense that you may have not been treated the way God would have wanted you to be on a perfect day in this scenario. So yeah, it is important for you to press on. We always have to press on. We always have to evolve. So I hope this message was helpful for somebody. If it was, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves and everybody in your life. Bye-bye.